let's talk about. Well, I guess before we get to that, it makes more sense to talk about the all new character sheet. Something I'm super excited for, and I can't wait to show everybody. So, oh shit, I have to switch my screen. I should really hotkey this, but whatever. Aha, there we go. So, new character sheet, brand new. Sat down, just made it. It's a little barren right now, but in the coming months, I hope to have this all dressed up with GTM centric flavor, flair, lots of cute things. Spots for your specialties, spots for obviously your name, your face. These are even deletable, so we can change tier to whatever the next tier is if you know what you're doing. So that way you're not forced to. I'm still learning how to do that. I'm still learning how to use LibreOffice as my main method of call it graphic design. So that's not. We're gonna see how that all goes in the future. I hopefully will be able to make this thing look much cuter in the very near future. But ooh, I didn't make that fillable. Hacking a fraud. See, that is the fun of playing. That is the fun of being an indie game that is entirely developed by one person. Is sometimes you just miss things, but it's cool. We can fix that. But what's more important, see, this may look like the regular sheet you're all used to, except for the little logo, which now makes the sheet trademarked. Ha 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 ha. Is we now have an equipment card, something to convey how our character chooses their equipment and how they express themselves. So we are going to name this character. Let's make them blessed. And we are going to call them faithfully consuming products of goodness. Faithfully consuming goodness. So faithfully consuming goodness, also known as faith, is a blessed fields individual, and this is how we're going to show you how all of equipment, specifically like apparel, works. So we are going to start off with their aesthetic, which means they have a nationality and a subculture. Of course, obviously everything written is beta, but it keeps things interesting. So their nationality is blessed fields, which means they wear an austere and modest clothing. Usually they wear white and black. If they have any kind of embellishment at all, it's usually in the form of quotes from the Great Prophet done in hand-stitched detail. So you might see somebody with shoulder pads or sort of what's that called? Filigree, I guess? I don't know. The stuff around the collar would be all written in words in these long versions of their sort of Bible quotes, for lack of a better term. And so they are going to get the nationality of blessed fields. And anybody wearing blessed fields clothes that they see gives them a plus 10 modifier to all con rolls. And then I think they are a merchant. They're somebody who's traveled around the world. And although they have their sort of blessed fields nationality, they've kind of taken in other culture sort of stuff. They wear a mishmash to make people feel comfortable. So they're going to wear merchant clothes. And that is all free. And we're going to say they have 11 RP to keep it fun. All of this is free. Merchant clothes, blessed fields clothes. That is decided that everybody has that. Mostly because I am bothered by the thought of if you're playing a game and you don't buy the clothes, technically your character is naked. And that always pissed me off, mostly because it was a distraction from your ability to role play. Is just you have to keep going oh wait, this character is naked. And so I don't like that. As much as I love the sort of traumatic American Werewolf in London transformations, that leave your character a just huddled mass after they turn into a werewolf, I would rather just be yeah, and then you magically have clothes back on, because it's just exhausting and to do for a player, and also can make them feel weird. Um, but the function decides what the actual clothes do. And so in this case, we are going to give them the function of, let's say, wealth. They're going to flex. So the function is where we get our major abilities of the clothes. They do something, they have different options for them, and because this character sheet is now fillable, I can just do this. 1 RP that can't be stolen without removing the outfit, social dam +5, and 1 torso pocket and 1 leg pocket. So we're going to click 1 torso pocket and 1 leg pocket. So that is going to cost him 2. All functions cost 2, taking him down to 9. Oop, I did not mean to push enter. Taking him down to 9. We're also going to buy him just outright. He needs a backpack because he is a merchant, so he needs to carry some goods. I'll explain what pockets mean in a second. So we're going to put down 5, or no, now he'd be up to 6, comma, backpack. So so the way pockets work, and a backpack costs how much? Backpack costs 4, so he's down to 5. So he's got 5 RP to get 6 pockets, 1 leg pocket. So what happened? So the way that pockets work is pockets control your inventory. They decide how much of yourself are you allowed to use, or how much of your stuff are you allowed to use, or carry, I should say. I don't get into encumbrance or these sort of harder things like inventory slots. Although there are games out there that are very, very cool about that. I've even seen games, I wish I could remember which one it was, that used the sort of like Resident Evil, you're going to play Tetris system with your inventory, and I think that's really cool, but it's also a hell of a time sink. So for these purposes, if you have the pockets, you can put it in, but they have to be continuous. So in this case, he can hold 1 size 1 thing on his leg, and 6 and then he can have any division of 6 on his torso. He also has 2 floating pockets that sort of represent his hands, and is a way of sort of solidarity for the character who couldn't spend $5 on that, or 5 RP. So now we need to get this guy some weapons. So with the 5 RP that we have left, my man is going to buy a weapon or 2. And so I think with this blessed merchant character, he wants to be kind of an assassin, or not an assassin. He wants to be able to protect himself, but more importantly, he wants to be able to get away. So we have, let's go with throwing knives, which are dex +10, damage +3 with piercing type damage. So I'm going to make this into 2 screens real fast so that I can be able to see everything I need. And the way that we're going to do that here is we are going to put throwing knives and then hit dex +3. And we can scroll using the character sheet as we just kind of boop, boop. What kind? Dex +3. Oh, my bad. I'm messing up my own order. So, of course, what these throwing knives are not just throwing knives alone. They have to have a material. That is the entire point of the thing. So the throwing knives are dex +10, dam +3, so on and so forth. But we scroll down here to the material, and we add some modifiers to them. So in this case, we are going to say, let's go with steel, for example. With steel, all of these, or he gets a +5 and a +5, but the cost is doubled. So in this case, the cost now becomes 1, and he loses that. Throwing knives, steel. And this is kind of, I have said before, my game is not really min-maxer friendly. This is very much a min-maxer's game of if you try to do that. But the thing stopping you, of course, is if you have RP, or if you've spent all your RP, you A, cannot pay for survival rolls, pay for like the survival upkeep, and B, you are putting yourself at further risk of the GM can just take that away. Equipment can be just sort of removed. Steel throwing knives, which I should say removed through story and narrative, like you're disarmed or something like that, not just like the GM doesn't like you, so they just take your stuff. So that becomes plus 15. The damage is plus 8, so they're very lethal. The type is P for piercing. Ammo is 6, so thrown ammo is important because it is a type of ammo that does not replenish after use. It only replenishes after the fight. So there is no reload for him. So we're going to put an X on reload. And the size of the throwing knives is 1, which means all throwing knives cost 1 pocket. And so in that case, our guy has steel throwing knives 1. And that conveys how much of his leg pockets he has left. Keep wanting to put. So he is decently armed, but I think he needs something else, something to keep him safe in a more permanent sense. And I think for that we are going to go with what is a good merchant's weapon? What is something that just says, I'm scared, help me, get me out of here? Definitely not a halberd or anything like that. If he's already, we know he's probably dex based if he's got the throwing knives. So let's swing up a little bit to something dex based, so maybe a sword. No, he doesn't want a pistol because he's already got a gun, or the throwing knives for distance. Yeah, I think we're gonna go with knives, and he is going to take a fine stiletto, costing him 125. But let's also check the material. He is going to go down. He is actually going to diminish the cost of his stiletto, and he's going to get it made out of bronze, which is now where I pull out my math. So 125 times 0.25 turns into we're going to round up to 33. So he now has 3.66 RP, which gives him, for bronze, it adds plus 5 to hit, but minus 5 to his damage. So in this case, where is it? These will all be in their own tables and much less than my sort of hand work that I do as I'm writing this. There it is. Stiletto. So he is going to get, with his stiletto, or his bronze stiletto. Bronze stiletto. And that is going to be dex plus 15 to hit. Unfortunately, his damage can't go negative, so it has no damage modifier at all, and it is yet again a pierce type damage. And its size is 2. It has no ammo on account of the fact that it is a knife. It has no reload on account of the fact that it is a knife. And so 2, and the final cost is 0.33. So with that, he's modified his weapon to be a little more effective, but also, and then we have to put it in a pocket. So we're going to put that in a torso pocket. Stiletto, bronze stiletto. Making me remember things. And that's going to take him down to 4. Oh, no, sorry. Size 2. And take it down to 4. So he now has 2 slots left open, plus his floating ones for his hands. And he's also taken care of his weapon. And now you see the cost of it is reflective of the fact it literally has no modifier on damage. It just makes him better at hitting. And so with that, we have that give and take of like, I can get a very cheap thing, but I can also really screw myself over if I'm trying to buy in and try to be like this covered in weapons kind of guy. I should mention ammo. I should talk about how ammo works. So ammo is every time you roll a successful roll with a ranged weapon, you have that many rounds before it no longer counts. And before you can no longer use that weapon. If it's a gun, you have reloads where you can take advantage rolls, and instead of generating advantage, reload your weapon. So for example, let's go up here. When we hop over to the sort of flintlock muskets, it takes 3 rounds to reload. So 3 contests, I should say. So 3 individual successful advantage rolls, and then boom, you have it. The trade-off to that is you get 11 damage. And so a properly perception character can pretty much hit at most base level NPCs thresholds without issue, plus you get to roll your damage die. So the reload pays off. On other times, you have lower ones, like a break action. I guess I could also call that one a trapdoor. But anyway, which is a very quick and fast loading that only takes 1 round to reload and even has 2 ammunition. And that applies to successes or to advantage and damage rolls. It does not matter. You still count ammo. In our case, this guy, though, has thrown ammo, so he is allowed 6 successful rolls, but those successful rolls, should they hit, are impressive. He gets a flat plus 15 to all of his rolls, plus his damage is plus 8 in addition to everything else. So he's still swinging pretty strong with that, even though he has those advantages, or the disadvantage of ammo. So that takes care of how weapons work. As you buy them, they have a certain set cost, but you can also upgrade them. I think we're going to do one more, I think. Yeah, we're going to do a heavy modified thing. Yes. Yeah. So, actually, or I could just do... Yeah, let's do smoke bombs. They're fun. No, gas grenade. There they are. Knew I couldn't find it. So, with a gas grenade, you can actually decide the type of drug you have, and this is something that the players haven't really encountered yet in Menagerie of Fate. So he's going to get a gas grenade. And the cost, and that has a thrown ammo of 2. Also, no reload. And a size of 1. But, of course, we have to determine the cost. So in this case, it should be 75 or 0.75 RP. We scroll down to drugs, and we're going to add that quantity to the drug we're using. So we're going to swing over. These are all the different drugs. They are mechanically... Beta is beta. In this case, I think he is going to take a... Yeah, we're going to give him sleep grenades. So he's going to take Killer, Tier 1, and we check back over on the equipment list. Tier 1 costs 2, so he's going to spend 275 of his RP to... oh, right, it's over here. So he's going to spend 275 of his RP to give himself... sleep gas grenades, or I'm going to put actually kill T1. And for the stats on the grenades, the way we read these is, scroll up. For the stats on the grenades, it is your dex modifier, and then it has a set radius, which is what that R stands for. So he is going to get dex plus 0. So actually, we can just write dex. And we're going to put here R3. So with an explosive, with an explosive, what that translates to, what the R translates to, is how many other contests can be affected. If you're using Theater of the Mind rules, it just stops at that contest. It stops at that contest, or it goes to whatever context is next closest or logically in the room. If you're using hard range rules, it uses every space nearby. So if people are in really close, cramped quarters, it can affect them that way. And the gas grenades are going to end up in his pocket right here, or are going to end up in his torso pocket. And since they have a size 1, they are only going to take 1. And then he is going to lose 275, so 366 minus 275. He is down to 91 RP. I'm going to keep things interesting and continue sort of explaining how stuff works. I am going to give him back a little extra money. I know, I'm cheating. Console commands. What was it in Sims? Rosebud, I think. Yeah. Or Mother. Yeah, it was Rosebud. Yeah, I'm going to Rosebud this guy real fast. Give him 4 more RP just to keep things interesting. I think I want to revisit that stiletto. I want to give it a weapon mod real fast. And so with this weapon mod, we can change it, add things, do stuff that makes it more interesting. And in this case, I would like to add... I think I'm going to add... Let's give our guy... I like the idea... This would be funny. I do like the idea of piercing melee damage. But no, instead we're going to go with... Where is it? We're going to give him a secret compartment. So he's going to get 1 extra pocket. I'm going to count that as part of his torso. And that's going to cost him 250. So he is going to go down now to 340. 341, sorry for everybody involved. And so he gets 1 extra pocket. That he is also going to buy... let's see. Let's go with a tier... How much money did I give him? 3? Let's give him a tier 2 drug. I think we're going to go with... Yeah, tier 2, he's going to get it a tier 2 upper. So something that finds it very easy to let negative thoughts roll off your back. And so we're going to swing back over here. And we're going to go... Sorry, I have to put that in. Upper. So take that away. He's back down to 41, but 0.41, but we'll mother load him up in a second. And he loses that other one again. And so with that, I can also, I would probably put this, I would put all of these stats in here under spells and abilities, mostly because any kind of drug or potion or medicine in PM follows the same deal as like thrown ammo. It basically, you wait till a time skip and it refreshes. That can be changed. That rule can be modified to do scarcity. All he gets is one dose with this. He gets one dose of the uppers that he purchased. Same deal for the gas grenade, except in that case, a creative player could take the sleep drugs out of that. So that's the way that works. Going through now, we're gonna mother load him one more time, drop him 4. Mother load of Sims 2, Rosebud him one more time. And we're going to hop over to SNCC. And we're going to head over to assets. So assets are the other side of property. They are things that are more nebulous and can't really be taken away in any way. And so when you have assets, each one costs an RP, but they are renewable, usable things that can be sort of relied upon at any given time. So in this case, let's say our friend wants to have retainers. They are social assistants, a bunch of people who make him look awesome, and he can use those in a prep role or in a preparatory sense. So if, the players are about to go into battle and they need to look their best, our guy over here can use his retainers. And so he is going, retainers being people who, so he's got retainers. Well, let's cut off. I don't like that. I'll fix that later. And he is going to take 1 tier of retainers, which gives him +10 social combat rolls. And so he has to activate that and choose to do so. He is only allowed to have a certain amount active at a given time. I wish I wrote that down. I don't. I thought I had that in my notes. He is. I think it. Right. He is allowed to have as many assets active at a time as he is. As he has asset tiers. So it doesn't pay to buy 85 different assets and be like, okay, so I'm going to get tier 1 retainers, tier 1 spies, tier 1 command, because he can only have that active for he can only have 1 active at a time. Salary is a special one. Salary follows different rules. So instead, we're going, that cost 1 RP, so he is down to, so he's going to go down to 3. And instead so now he is going to buy, 2 tiers in spies. It's tier 1. Like I said, beta is beta. All the ugly stuff we're going to fix. And spies allow him to get extra counters in he can start with the amount of spies invoked times 5. In staked counters. Staked counters are something that the players haven't gotten into, but they're basically counters that they have to choose to activate. The only thing is, it is tied to where you get your spies. So this guy, I'm going to say, as a blessed merchant type dude, has his spies in the blessed industrial sector. So for your sort of adventuring, questing across the land characters, spies may not be the best investment because they're going to encounter so many different people. But for somebody who's working in a very specific area, or a very specific sort of industry, then the spies are going to come really in handy, because they are going to be somebody you can rely on to get lots of staked counters. But more importantly, because he has spies tier 2, he is able to, because he has spies tier 2, he is able to use Spy's tier 1 and his retainers at any given time. So that's the big edge that's going to give him. Spies do not cost any spies naturally do not cost any what's it called? They do not cost any pockets, but they of course cost RP. Since he's already spent them, that is settled. Also, assets can't be just bought willy-nilly. They can only be gained as part of the advancement cycle, which is something we're going to be talking about probably next rerun session. So that's about it as far as purchasing stuff. Pets, I don't feel like going into right now. The core of it is that pets all have attributes, and except discipline, they have loyalty. If your pet's loyalty is too high, they can take damage for you. So be concerned about that if you are not in the business of letting pets get injured. Otherwise, that is all I have at this time for this particular thing, for this particular side of the game. If you would like to know more or you have any questions, please come into the Discord. The Perpetual Questions section is specifically for asking questions about us, all the players, and stuff like that. Otherwise, we have a Ko-fi you can donate to. We always welcome that. I'm trying to think what else we have. Oh, YouTube, if you're not watching this on YouTube, or you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, I already said YouTube, Twitter, and I think that's it. Anyway, check out all the links we have. They're important, and we love to see you. We love to interact with you, so please do hit us up on Discord. That is the easiest way to get a hold of all the Perpetual players, but most notably me as well. Otherwise, I wish you a fond adieu as we begin the rerun. And I'll see you all next week.